The old piano had been silent for 12 years, but the moment the stranger touched its keys, the entire house seemed to remember a pain everyone had tried to bury. A single note echoed through the empty room, followed by a melody so familiar that her hands began to shake. It was the song her mother used to cry over every night before she disappeared from her life forever. Aurora Vale stood frozen at the doorway, unable to breathe. The man she had hired to repair her broken piano was not supposed to know that song. No one was supposed to know. It belonged to a memory she had locked away deep inside her heart. If you believe kindness can change lives, that second chances matter, and that everyone deserves a moment of hope, take a second to like this video, share it with someone who needs a reminder about kindness, and subscribe to the channel Heart Kindness Tales. The repairman slowly lifted his hands from the keys and looked at Aurora with a confused expression. His name was Callan Reed, a quiet single father who had spent most of his life fixing things other people had given up on. Broken clocks, damaged furniture, old houses, and now, a piano that looked as though it had been abandoned along with the memories trapped inside it. "I'm sorry," Callan said softly. "I didn't mean to play that." Aurora walked closer, her eyes filling with tears she had fought for years to hold back. "Where did you learn that song?" Callan looked down at the piano. For a moment, he seemed like a man standing in front of his own memories. "My mother used to hum it when I was a child. I haven't heard it in decades." Aurora's heart sank. That couldn't be possible. The song was not famous. It was not written in any book. Her mother had created it herself, a simple melody she played on rainy afternoons when Aurora was a little girl. It was the song that always came before the tears. The song her mother cried over. The song that disappeared the night she left. Years earlier, Aurora had been just 8 years old, living in a small house with her mother, Maribel, who filled their home with music. The piano had belonged to her grandmother, and every evening, Maribel would sit down and play while Aurora listened from the stairs. But behind those beautiful notes was a sadness Aurora never understood. Her mother would smile during the day, cook meals, help with homework, and tell stories before bedtime. Yet when the world became quiet, she would sit at the piano and play the same unfinished melody, tears falling onto the keys. Little Aurora would sneak down and ask why she was crying. Her mother would wipe her face and say, "Sometimes a song remembers things we wish we could forget." Aurora never understood those words. Not until the day Maribel left. There was no goodbye. No explanation. Just an empty room, a suitcase missing from the closet, and a letter that simply said she needed to find herself. Aurora waited by the window for weeks. Then months. Then years. Her father passed away shortly after, leaving Aurora with relatives who cared for her but never truly knew how to heal the empty space inside her. The piano became a painful reminder. Eventually, it stopped working after years of neglect. Aurora could never bring herself to throw it away, but she also couldn't bear to hear it again. Now, 25 years later, she had inherited her childhood home and returned to the place where everything began. She thought repairing the piano would help her finally let go. She never expected a stranger to unlock everything she had buried. Callan noticed the pain in her face and quietly stepped away from the instrument. "I should have asked before playing." Aurora shook her head. "No. It's just impossible." He didn't push her for an answer. That was something she immediately noticed about him. Most people asked questions because they were curious. Callan listened because he cared. Over the next few days, he worked on the piano while Aurora watched from a distance. She learned little things about him. He was raising his 9-year-old daughter, Elara, alone after his wife passed away from an illness 3 years earlier. He worked long hours because he wanted Elara to have a stable life, even if it meant sacrificing his own dreams. Callan never complained. He arrived every morning with tired eyes but a patient smile. He fixed the piano piece by piece, carefully cleaning every wooden panel and restoring every damaged string. Aurora found herself noticing the small things. The way he always carried extra snacks because he knew his daughter might visit him after school. The way he repaired broken toys for neighborhood children without charging them. The way he talked about Alara with a pride that made his whole face change. For the first time in years, Aurora wondered if she had judged life too harshly. She had spent so long believing people always left. Her mother left. Her father left. Everyone she loved disappeared eventually. But Callan was proof that some people stayed, even when staying was hard. One afternoon, while cleaning a shelf near the piano, Aurora discovered an old envelope hidden behind a loose wooden panel. It was yellowed from age, and her hands trembled when she saw the handwriting. It was her mother's. She opened it carefully. Inside was a photograph. Her mother stood beside another young woman she didn't recognize. On the back of the picture were 4 words. Before I lost everything. Aurora's heart raced. She ran to Callan, who was tightening a string inside the piano. "Do you know this woman?" she asked. Callan looked at the photograph. The color drained from his face. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then he whispered, "That's my mother." Aurora felt the room spin. Callan looked at her with the same shock. "My mother's name was Celine Reed," he said. "She played piano too. She disappeared when I was young." Aurora stared at him. 2 broken children. 2 missing mothers. 2 families connected by a song. The truth they had both spent years chasing was hidden inside an old piano. Callan gently turned the photograph over again. "My mother always told me she made one mistake in her life. She said she hurt someone she loved, and she never forgave herself." Aurora felt tears running down her face. "My mother said something similar," she whispered. The room became silent. For years, Aurora believed her mother left because she didn't love her enough. But maybe the truth was more complicated. Maybe there was a pain she never knew about. Together, Aurora and Callan searched through old records, letters, and memories. Every discovery revealed another piece of the story. Their mothers had been best friends when they were young. They shared their love for music and dreamed of performing together. They had even written songs together. But one night, a terrible argument changed everything. Celine believed Maribel had stolen her chance at a music career. Maribel believed Celine had betrayed their friendship. They separated, and both carried regret. Years later, when Maribel became sick, she tried to find Celine and apologize. But she never found her. The song was not about sadness. It was an apology. A goodbye. A wish that somehow, the 2 friends could forgive each other. Aurora sat beside the restored piano that evening, staring at the keys. She spent all those years crying because she missed her, Aurora said. Callan nodded. My mother did too. For the first time, Aurora realized her mother's tears were never proof that she didn't love her. They were proof that she was carrying a pain too heavy to explain. The next morning, Callan brought Alara with him. The little girl walked into the room and looked at the piano with curiosity. Can you play something? Alara asked. Callan smiled. I only know one song. He sat down. And he played the melody. The same melody Aurora had heard as a child. But this time, there were no tears of confusion. Only tears of understanding. Aurora closed her eyes and imagined her mother sitting beside her again, gently guiding her hands across the keys. For the first time in 25 years, the house did not feel haunted. It felt alive. Months passed, and the piano became more than a repaired instrument. It became a place where Aurora and Callan built something new. Aurora started teaching children music in the old house. Callan continued repairing instruments. Alara filled the rooms with laughter. A house that once carried silence became a home again. Aurora never forgot the man who walked into her life to fix a piano and ended up helping repair a piece of her heart. Before Callan arrived, she thought broken things only had one purpose, to remind people of what they lost. But he showed her something different. Broken things can be restored. People can heal. And sometimes the most unexpected person enters your life carrying the exact piece you needed all along. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who believes in hope, and subscribe to Heart Kindness Tales for more emotional stories about love, healing, and second chances. Before the story ends, leave a comment saying, "Kindness finds a way," if you believe one small act of compassion can change someone's entire life. Because sometimes, a stranger doesn't just repair what is broken. Sometimes, they bring back a song you thought you lost forever.